I miss seeing you in class. Sorry that we're not together right now, but while we're apart in our own homes, I want to give you a few things you can do at home with your parents or with your siblings so that you can be ready for kindergarten, even if we're not in school right now. Hopefully you've had a lot of extra time to play outside and play with your siblings and have been having a great time, even though it's a little weird that we're not in school right now. The first thing I want to give you guys to do is you can do what we always do at school. You can start your morning by getting your parents involved or your brothers or sisters or whoever's in your house and have them count by 5s and 10s with you like we do every morning, picking an exercise. Jumping jacks, your favorite, standing like a statue, push-ups, spinning in circles. Don't forget to keep doing that. It's fun, it's good exercise, and it will help you remember your counting by 5s and 10s. You can also be keeping your calendar. We're still in March, but in a few days it's going to be a new month. So for March, we're still doing our pattern of green, white, orange. And then after March, what comes next? January, February, March, and April. April's next. So have mom, dad look in the back of your calendar for what the pattern is for April. And then you can continue to fill that out each month that goes through. Also, don't forget your 100 number chart. I know we do it every day at school and you can still do it at home. I put one in your folders that I gave to your parents, and these ones you can't draw on with your dry erase marker, but you could use a Cheerio, you could just point to it, you could use a little toy and mark the number, but have someone call out some numbers like we do in class, and you point to them or put a marker on there so that you're still working on your 100 number chart. That's really important for kindergarten, so don't stop doing that, okay? Money, you can still be counting with money. Pennies, nickels, and dimes. See if you can get some change around the house and start out counting by pennies. Remember, pennies are round and brown and worth 1 cent. Count by ones to count out your pennies. Then move on to your nickels. Nickels are bigger and fatter and worth 5 cents. Use your counting by 5s to count those. And then move on to dimes. Remember, they're smaller, but they're worth more. They're worth 10 cents. So count by 10s with your nickels. Maybe you can do what we do at school and put price tags on either play food or even your real food. Have somebody write out some amounts and you can count out your money for it and pretend to buy it like we do at our little grocery store in pre-K. Let's see. So that's what you can do for math right now. I'll give you some more ideas next week, but start with that. It's easy stuff you can do at home to make sure that you're keeping your brain working. Science. Now we've been going through creation for science. We've done day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. We are on day 6, which is animals and man. And if you remember, we're using our continents. You all know your continents. Be saying those at home too. We're picking one animal per continent. So we've done North America. We've done the beaver for North America. We did South America. We did a jaguar. So North America, South America. Europe is next. For Europe, I chose the hedgehog. Here's a picture of him. He's cute. He's little and he's cute. And we're gonna just talk about him just a little bit. This hedgehog has lots of spines all over him, doesn't he? He actually has over 6,000 spines. When he was born, he doesn't have any, but as he grows, he gets more and more. Why do you think God gave them so many spines? Because they need them for protection. So when they feel like somebody might be coming after them, they can roll up in a ball and all their spines are out and it protects them. God created them special like that, so that they can protect themselves even though they're little. So another interesting thing about hedgehogs is they hibernate. That means they go to sleep in November and they don't wake up again until March. That's a really long nap. What do you think they eat before they go into hibernation? They need to eat a lot, right? Because they need to have full bellies before they sleep for that long. Well, they eat things like slugs and snails and caterpillars and worms and beetles. Did you guess any of that? They're also nocturnal. Do you know what that means? Nocturnal. I bet you guys do. That means they come out at nighttime. Other animals are nocturnal. Can you think of any? How about a bat? A raccoon? Those are nocturnal animals also, but our hedgehog is the one we're talking about today. He is found in some other places, but he lives on the continent of Europe. For science, could you draw a picture of a hedgehog in your journal, in your notebook that we sometimes use? And if it's nice, go outside and maybe you can scrounge up something that a hedgehog eats, like worms or slugs or beetles. Maybe you can find some creepy crawlies that they would love to eat under a rock or something. So what you can do this week, you can go over your 100 number chart. You can keep counting by 5s and 10s and keep counting money. You can go over all your recitation, all those poems you know, The Wind by Christina Rossetti, The Swing by Robert Louis Stevenson. Don't forget to go over your Bible memory, Psalm 100, and then 1 Corinthians 13, 4-6. Let your parents know the continents and the oceans. You guys know these things. Keep saying them so they remain fresh in your brain. Okay, last thing I'm gonna have you do today is put on your reading ears. And I'm gonna sound a couple things out so that your parents can do it for you too. All right, you ready? Cat. Cat, that's right. How about it? Sit. You guys know it. Have your parents do that so that you can keep your reading ears on. And if you have readers, read them, okay? Your parents can message me and I can get you more if you have gone through all of yours. If you don't have a reader, keep going over your letters. Have dad, mom, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, whoever's with you, read to you. It's a great thing to do. And you can also listen to books sometimes on the computer. Ask them how to do that. So before I end our video today, our first video, I'm going to read a book to you. I left all of our books at school, but I found a good one here at the house. It's called Caps for Sale. I've never read it to you in class, but maybe you've heard it before. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them all on his head. First, he had on his own checked cap, and then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town, slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he thought, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First, he checked his own checked cap, and then the gray caps, and then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there. So he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. and all he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do, and finally he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." This made the peddler very angry. So he shook both hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." By this time, the peddler was really very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap. He threw it on the ground and he began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And all the gray caps and the brown caps and the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First, his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the blue caps, then the brown caps and the red caps at the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." All right, I'll see you guys back on this video in a few days. Next week, we'll see how it works out. Ask your parents if you have any questions. They can message me at any time or text me, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye.